This is the CHRILLCAST. I'm Chris.
And I'm Will.
I'm David.
And David, why don't you tell everybody about your channel?
I run a fairly small YouTube channel that I recently started. Actually, just as I mentioned previously to you guys, I started with COVID in March. So that was an opportunity to start a channel. I've been wanting to do it for a while, but I'm happy to do it now. And of course, as you can see, it's fairly Megaton focused, but I have JRPGs in my name, so I should eventually cover more stuff. But for now, it's Megaton.
The only one that matters.
Yeah, and he's got some great coverage of the Mega 10 series in general, but I will say his 13 Sentinels video, if you're curious about that game, go check it out. Definitely lays it out well. Yeah, me too. I'm excited to see. I'm cautious, though, because it was originally a Vita title, and they took so long to release it, so we'll get to that later.
Yeah, but that's vanillaware. It's normal. But yeah, we'll get to that later.
But, Will, what's today?
Today is Manic Monday.
And he just keeps, getting more and more with that ASMR voice for you guys every single week. So, we got to make sure we pay him a little better. No.
Yeah.
So before we get into the main topic, which is the upcoming Atlus games for 2020 and 2021, we're going to start with these two quick topics here. One of them is the Apple's policy. I'm talking about Apple, the company, as in like iOS. Their policy regarding streaming for services like XCloud and Stadia. I'm not sure how much you guys know about it, but basically they've actually changed their terms to allow streaming apps, but the caveat is you have to create a separate app for every single game that's going to be streamed on the platform, so they can rate them all individually.
Yeah. So it's such a rotten policy, which is funny because it's Apple. But it's just ridiculous. They don't do this to movies. They don't do this to Netflix, and also the games are already individually rated, so we already know that like the maturity rating. People has already reviewed a lot of them because a lot of them are older games, and in the newer ones you can buy off the iOS platform. So this is just, I don't know, they just don't want anything competing with their own service, the Apple Arcade.
Yeah,
basically it's Apple. It's not surprising.
Yep, I'm hoping that this hurts them a little bit, just because I feel like they're getting too big for their britches, and I think they can just control the market.
And they kind of can if they're unchecked, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
But can you imagine, how many games go on and off of XCloud service? How many apps would Microsoft have to make? Just like a generic XCloud wrapper around these games.
150 games on there right now, and that's not the ones that are going to rotate out this month or rotate in, and it's just ridiculous.
I just can't imagine dealing with that. You have to download a separate. It's basically just it'd be a XCloud wrapper around each game. It's literally just XCloud 150 times. And then they just have to rate each individual game. It's not what I would expect from any tech company in this day and age.
No.
But that's what you get with Apple right now.
Yeah, it's kind of like Rare Replay, how you buy the game, then you have to download each game individually. So it's like that. That's
basically
frustrating. Yeah.
All right. Well, we're done talking about bad apples. Let's move on to the PS5 versus Xbox Series X pricing. We now know the pricing for everything, so if you're watching this video, 2 weeks after they've announced the prices, which would be the case.
This is brand new information.
The PS5 is $500 for the disc version, $400 for the non-disc version, the all-digital version, and it's the Xbox Series X is $500 for the disc version, which is the X, and then $300 for the S all-digital version, which is, again, the sad console. But
this one's going to sell though.
Probably for $300.
Not like the first one that they did.
Exactly, this one's going to sell like hotcakes.
They also have the nice plans for $35 a month for 2 years. You can get the X. For $25 a month for 2 years, you can get the S. And both of those come with XCloud essentially for free, built into that price model. So that's actually pretty cool.
And Game Pass. Yeah.
And EA Play.
Woo. And EA Play and Xbox Live. It's amazing.
Hey, you get Mass Effect out of that at least, so there's that. But what do you guys think about this pricing model and everything going on with the PS5 and the Xbox?
I have one thing to say about that. I was surprised with the price of the digital version of the PS5. I was not expecting $100 off the regular price, because let's be honest, even if it's an Ultra HD Blu-ray drive, it's not worth $100. So to cut it off like that, $100. They have the same specs, unlike the Xbox. I was surprised. It's cool for the people that want this edition. I'm physical, so it doesn't necessarily matter to me, but
Right.
it's cool.
Gotta get physical.
I got a theory on why Sony lopped off $100 instead of $50 for the drive. It's because with the $400 console, they make a cut off every game you buy, right? So they make that money back so quick you wouldn't even they won't even notice. Like the digital edition is obviously the preferred version for them to sell. So I'm not a conspiracy theorist, but I do think Sony was planning the digital edition to be so cheaper enough that it was a viable option for most people, such that they make all the money back off the store.
Yeah, well, you can tell that from the design of the console itself. The digital version looks really sleek and nice. That the disc version looks ridiculous. Looks like they just slapped that disc drive on the side of it.
Yeah, I would agree with that.
As an afterthought.
Yeah.
Anyway, so my opinion on this is, I think the PlayStation is really competitively priced, and this is exactly what they had to do, not to just get crushed out of the gate. Even with they only have a couple exclusives. So really, both systems are coming into this generation really lacking exclusives, in my opinion.
Oh, 100%.
At least ones
Agreed.
really to get excited about it at the very least. And so, Microsoft had their price leaked, and then they announced it officially, and then Sony had some time to reevaluate, and I really think that they came in lower specifically to compete. We'll really see how it goes, because like you said, the Series S is a completely different machine. It's got some of the same innards as the Series X, but it only puts out at 1440p. However, apparently it can upscale to 4K if developers decide to do it.
Which is what the Xbox One S used to do, especially for video, to scale it.
Yeah. So I don't know. It's going to be really interesting. I think it's one of those situations where this is the best year ever to get both systems. As far as you can get two digital versions, or you can get the PS5 and then the really cheap Xbox, and you can play both and have a Game Pass on one and the notorious Sony exclusives on the other. So.
Yep.
See, I don't think if you're gonna buy a brand new console, this is not the year to do it. There's nothing there for you, unless you really want backwards compatibility in Game Pass and a really high res console. I don't see a good reason to get the Xbox. I'd wait till Infinite comes out. That's my opinion. And then the PS5, I don't care until Atlus releases some games. There's nothing there for me until Atlus starts putting some stuff out.
Not going to buy one for a while, man.
Yeah, it's gonna be probably until the PS4 is completely dead and gone. Because Atlus will probably support the PS4 with the 100 million consoles already out there for quite some time.
Sure.
So.
For sure.
Yeah, I'm having the same dilemma. Again, like I said, I think they're both pretty good deals. I think the Xbox is a phenomenal deal, but there's not that new game that I really, really want.
When Infinite comes out, I will probably get the $35 a month pass to get the Series X.
Especially if there's a limited edition console.
I don't care about that. I want the black model.
But I agree, and on both systems, at least for me, there's no major titles that I must buy day one. So I'm buying the PS5 day one, but I won't even buy a game with it. So it's just I'll buy Yakuza, but it's coming out on PS4 as well. So I don't really have a reason to buy it. I'll just sell the PS4 and play my PS4 games on it until something cool releases.
I heard that Persona 5 The Royal might not work on day one.
That might be the case.
I heard 5 for some reason they ported 5 but not the Royal. I don't know if that was an Atlus thing or if that was a Sony thing.
Man.
Or
I laughed on stream so hard when I saw that. I was like, oh, that's vanilla P5 for them. That's especially since Royal is just considered the definitive version by everyone. So hey, here's the the half-assed game basically. It's still a good game, don't get me wrong, but we just got the other title that's just so much better. So,
the other thing they did was for the Persona 4 Arena games, they ported Arena and not Ultimax to the backwards compatibility program for the Xbox One.
The same thing. Doesn't make sense.
They only picked it because they picked the one that had more sales, but they didn't think about the fact that the definitive edition is the one they didn't pick. It's what? They'd be doing the OG version of Halo 3 and putting that on the Master Chief Collection instead of the one with all the updates and all the maps. Why would you pick vanilla Halo 3 over the one with everything? It doesn't make sense.
No, it doesn't.
Anyway, that kind of brings us on to the main topic, which is Atlus and what they're doing in the next year to year and a half, I guess, at this point, right?
Nothing.
2020, 2021. So I'm going to give you guys a quick little synopsis of what we're going to cover. We got Atlus is going to release 13 Sentinels, Aegis Rim. Aegis, right?
I say Aegis.
Aegis?
Okay. Aegis? I don't know. I'm
I don't
not
know.
sure.
That's when you put an AE and a G next to each other, it always throws me off. You got Persona 5 Scramble / Strikers, Shin Megami Tensei 3, Shin Megami Tensei 5, and then the notorious Project RE Fantasy, which we haven't heard anything about in years now.
Yep.
And it
Should
has
put many question marks on the end of that one.
well, it took the creator the lead on the Persona series away from the Persona series. So Persona 6 is going to be interesting going forward. But why don't we start with Aegis or Aegis Rim, whichever way it's supposed to be pronounced, and what do we think about that?
This game's going to be, I think it's going to be really cool. Unfortunately, it's going to sell 4 copies, but it's going to be really good. I'm sure of it. Like, it's so unique. The art style, it's Vanillaware, it's amazing. And the soundtrack I listened to, it's really good as well. And I've heard that the gameplay is also really cool if you're into that type of thing. I don't necessarily play tower defenses games so much, but I think this one system looks really interesting, and I'm always down for something more unique. So, since Atlus and Vanillaware is behind it, I pre-ordered my copy a while back, and I can't wait to get it.
I think I had a pre-order in at a different time when it was going to be on the Vita. I think I had a pre-order in somehow, and then it got canceled or they said it was still coming to the Vita, but they canceled my pre-order, and I said, "Oh, that's not good." But I'm interested to see how this game turns out because it has always I think the art style is super unique, especially given what type of game this is, and then the fact that it's very story driven and very narrative driven. I always like those types of games, but initially, I'm not gonna lie, I thought it was like a Zero Escape style game almost.
Yeah, a visual novel.
But like a completely different gameplay mechanic where it was like very story driven, but also you could affect the outcomes based on what you do. And I'm curious to see if that actually plays out or if they've kind of brought it down to a more of a linear style story with each of the 13 characters that they laid out having their own unique but linear story, or if it's going to have some kind of choices where they affect each other, like a branching tree of choices.
Is it kind of like Telltale is what you're thinking?
No, I don't. It's not like the gameplay is not like Telltale, but I was curious if the choices would affect the story like Telltale. And I can't remember if they.
I love those kind of games. So
if they've condensed it back down into more of a linear story with each of the characters, or if they're because I know it's like it spans several timelines.
Yeah.
And I don't know if the timelines can impact each other as you play the game. That was what I was most interested in.
I don't know if your decisions will impact the endings that you get, but I do know that depending on what you do in a certain timeline, you'll get something different in another timeline. Like you move like from the 1920s to the 1980s, and if you do something that way in the 1920s, you'll get something different in the 1980s. So that's pretty cool. That's a cool and unique concept.
Mm-hmm.
I do find the other interesting factor was like there was like some alternate fork in history where they end up with these giant mechs, like you can see in the background, in like what, the 50s or the 80s. I can't remember when they showed up. Or did they show up back? They don't show up back in the 20s, I don't think. I remember reading something about this because I was trying not to spoil myself, but at the same time I was like, I'm curious, what's going on? And I remember they're like, oh yeah, some alternate history where mechs showed up in World War II, and I was like, what? Anyway, this game looks really cool, and it's coming out very shortly, right? We're coming up on it.
Yep, Tuesday,
yeah. So if you're watching this video when it comes out, it came out last Tuesday. So we're excited. Yes. Hopefully it's as good as we're hyping it up to be. And
I hope so.
I might pick up a copy of this at some point in the near future.
Put it on Game Pass.
I don't think it's coming to any Xbox console.
No, it's not.
Most Atlus games never make it over to Xbox, which is sad, but
it is very sad.
Well, the Xbox is a DVD player in Japan, so can't really blame them. I hope they'll change that with the Series X, but I doubt it.
I hope
they're trying new tales at least.
I hope Nocturne comes to the Xbox. I was talking to Spencer about this, in the podcast we did with him, and that would be pretty cool if they actually released Nocturne. Why don't we come up to the next thing though before I get to Nocturne?
Yep.
Persona 5 Strikers, we still don't know when that's coming out, and hopefully within the next 7 days that changes and we just look stupid saying that. But we still don't know when this game's coming out, and they've only kind of hinted at the fact that the title is going to change to Strikers. What do you think about Atlus like being so vague about Strikers and Scramble, whatever you want to call it?
Oh man, I used to talk about this game so much on my channel, and I just don't talk about it anymore. Like people are asking me sometimes, and it's so unrelated in the comment sections. They're like, is this game still coming? I'm like, yeah, they'll bring it at some point, but don't ask me when. I just don't know, and you can't figure it out with Atlus. It's clearly they don't know. They don't even know themselves why it's not out here yet. So I don't know, and it's going to do so well once it comes out. So
oh yeah.
There's a reason why there's like 1,000 Twitter accounts that are counting down the days since the release of the game in Japan, and that we haven't heard anything from it for us. But I can't wait for that one. It looks really cool. The demo is amazing.
And the thing that I heard from Spencer, which really cracked me up, he was like, "Hey, if they're gonna be working on this Zelda prequel, are they still working on Scramble?"
Oh man, and it's yeah, that was one of the debate that came up when they announced the new game. People were like, "Oh well, rip Scramble, I guess."
Obviously, I don't know what the priority at Koei Tecmo is, but I'm imagining Zelda takes a higher priority than Persona.
I'm gonna say Zelda.
For sure, and it's understandable.
Right. And it'll probably bring in more money too, so like you can't even blame them. But it's like this game should have been done like months ago. I hope it actually is done, and they're just like waiting until they get every last bit out of Royal, sucking blood from the Royal Stone, and
That's
then
probably the case. It came out in February in Japan, so there's no way that the localization, like it's been 7 months. It's crazy.
Yeah, and they had it done several months before they released it in Japan, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, of course.
So.
Well, they announced that one. They announced P5R and P5S in December, I think, in a stream. I think it's December. So it came out just 3 months after in Japan for Scramble. That's impressive for Japan. for Atlus, sorry. Yeah, that's very impressive. They don't necessarily do that. We see a bunch of companies do it, like Nintendo, for example, like Hyrule Warriors that they just reveal, or the Mario collections that they revealed like 3 weeks ago and it's out. They do that very often, but Atlus, that never happens.
The red hair on Joker was really interesting there. I'd never seen him looking like that. I haven't watched this trailer on purpose because I don't want to get myself hyped for a game that who knows when it's coming out.
Yeah.
Ooh, snowboard.
That's cool
Oh
as well.
man, I might have to stop this video before I get too much interest in this. I want this game to be announced as coming out, and then I'll start getting more hyped. But I'm just shocked that Atlus has just waited so long to do anything with this in the Americas. Like, come on, or the North America really, because Canada and Mexico probably get to release too at the same time, I would think.
Probably.
Let's get on to a more happy note. Shin Megami Tensei 3, something that's coming that was announced and is being worked on. I had the PS2 version. I played through some of it. I actually did not finish the PS2 version, which shame on me.
Yeah, yep.
Will hasn't even touched it, so.
Nope. But I didn't buy it in anticipating of playing it and then not play it. So there you go.
But
well, now's the time.
Yeah, for sure.
It
And I
comes
do.
out 2 days after my birthday.
There you go.
Nice.
I sincerely hope this game actually comes to the Xbox and PC with the PS4 and Switch release as well.
It should be coming to PC. It
I
will
hope
do
it
well.
does.
Yeah, I really hope so.
I see absolutely zero reason after Persona 4 Golden and all the sales they got. Like, it's easy money unless Sony's like literally paying them a fortune. There's no reason to leave these games on just Sony products.
I have one reason. One word. Atlus. That's the reason. There's nothing to understand there.
That's fair.
I don't see the logic. I really don't see it because it's like the porting process from PS4 to PC is so easy, especially for this type of game, this older game. Let's not get into that. But there's no reason. You're right.
I mean, this game could be easily the I'm gonna call it the gateway drug for people to get into Atlus games, Just release it on everything possible, because there's no reason that anything modern can't run this game. And then maybe people will like, oh man, I really want Atlus, so I'm gonna go buy the Switch and a PS5. Yeah. And then they'll use that to get into the Atlus series of games, which would be Persona, Shin Megami Tensei, and all the other various franchises they work on. Like, this could literally be the quote-unquote gateway drug to get them into it.
Yep.
There's no reason to withhold this from Xbox and PC.
Especially now with the release of SMT5 afterwards, which is going to be like one of their biggest titles that they've had in a while. Again, I don't see the reason why they decided not to port the game to at least PC. PC, because PC makes sense. PC would sell a lot of copies. Xbox, I can understand that it probably would sell not that many copies.
But the porting process would be worth it.
Exactly. Even then, the cost related to that port would be so low that... but hey, who knows? Maybe they'll do something great at some point.
I'm excited, though. I'm probably going to get this for the Switch, honestly. If I have to be completely fair on this. I probably won't buy it for a next-gen or even a current-gen hardware console. I'll buy it for the portable Switch.
Portability is worth a lot. At least it is worth a lot for me. I really love my Switch.
I love the Vita, too.
Yes, well, the Vita... I talked to Spencer, and I told him that I had one game in my collection. He was not too happy with that. Especially since that's the game. And I won't surprise any of you guys, but yeah, that's the one.
You don't even have Dancing All Night. Come on, man.
No, I don't. I don't even have that one.
Okay. Well, I won't hold it against you, but Spencer might.
But it's a great little system.
Oh, yeah. It's fantastic. And I had PS Plus for a long time, so I was picking up free digital copies of a lot of Vita games.
Yeah, that's nice. Right. Before they were giving out, I think it was one PS4, one PS3, and one Vita game every month with PS Plus. And that was great at that time.
Yep. All right, let's get on to this big bad boy here. Shin Megami Tensei 5. Where are we at with this?
This one, my fingers are crossed for Friday. Like, well, when your viewers will be watching this or listening to this podcast, they'll have the answer. But I'm hoping for gameplay at Tokyo Game Show for SMT5. I would really like that, and I hope that we'll see anything. I don't know. Like they yesterday they sent their schedule for Sega and Atlus at Tokyo Game Show, what their plans were. There's a bunch of games that will be covered under Sega's name, but under Atlus, there's Nocturne only. So I personally don't think that means that they'll only show Nocturne. Like, I think they still might have like some type of trailer for SMT5 or gameplay, anything like a surprise, basically. Of course, they won't show like 30 or 40 minutes of footage from SMT5 and gameplay, because Nocturne comes out the next month in Japan, so it doesn't make sense. And I was expecting an emphasis on Nocturne at TGS because it was coming out the next month. So, but I was still expecting gameplay. I did a predictions video before they announced that they would focus only on Nocturne, and I actually said, and I know that's the next title that we'll talk about, but I actually said that we would hear from Project Re Fantasy at TGS, and the reason why is because at the end of the year, Atlus sent like a card, or at least they tweeted New Year's wishes to every one of their fans, and they said to look forward to SMT5 news and Project Re Fantasy news in the upcoming year. We're in September and we haven't heard anything from Project Re Fantasy, so that's why I was expecting TGS to be the time. But now that Nocturne's the only game, I don't necessarily think. I'm still hoping for gameplay for SMT5, but I don't know about Project Re Fantasy anymore.
I think Project Re Fantasy is going to be one of the coolest games, concept anyways, when Atlus actually reveals it. But here's what I'm thinking about SMT5. So originally when I saw the reveal in 2017, I was like, man, this really feels like Shin Megami Tensei 9 style of game. Because they only showed like the post-apocalyptic Japanese landscape and all that stuff, and it just felt to me like Shin Megami Tensei 9 as far as the artistic direction of the trailer. But then when I saw this and I saw some interesting breakdowns of this trailer, I was like, is this just literally just going to be a continuation right after Nocturne somehow? Like, is this going to be literally Nocturne ends and then that's why they're doing 3 and 5 together in the way that they're doing it, because you can play through 3 and then all of a sudden 5 is continuing the story somehow. I don't know. It seems interesting.
Yeah, I can't wait for that one. It's definitely my most anticipated title for sure. I hope it makes 2021. But again, Atlus, so who knows? But I really hope so. And because Nintendo's behind this game, I'm sure we can, like, here are the two words that make me say what I'm about to say. Worldwide release. That's Nintendo.
Yes.
So I have confidence because of Nintendo that this game could come out in 2021, like they are saying it will. So yeah, we'll see. I hope so.
Hey,
featuring
But 2021 is
Dante
going
from
to be an
Devil May
amazing
Cry.
game.
Yeah, Xbox is at the Tokyo Game Show this year as well. Maybe they'll be like announced that this game will come to Xbox.
Not
It's gonna be
5.
fine.
3
I doubt it.
probably.
I'm just.
But 5,
smoke up.
3 I can see.
Right.
5 I can't. There's no way. Nintendo's got too much money into 5.
Yes, I would think so. I think 5 is going to be is going to do extremely well for just for a Megaton title. It's going to surpass 4. Like, I'm sure of it.
Oh yeah.
100%. The hype around this game is really high. It was higher than it was with 4 back in the day. So yeah, it's going to do well.
I think this game is the reason why we don't see a Persona 5 port to the Switch, because it would only cannibalize sales from this game. Like they're saying like, hey, you're not going to get Persona, so buy this game. That's basically what the cost, what the gameplay or game plan is. And then if this game sells well, I bet you Persona 5 comes like maybe 6 to 12 months later.
Yeah, well, it's going to be better anyway.
Persona
Persona 5 is a
probably.
good game, but honestly, that whole Persona 5 on Switch situation is terrible. People are that's crazy, honestly. Like they're showing they're revealing the voice actors for English dub of 13 Sentinels, and people are commenting like, what the hell is this bullshit? Give us Persona 5 on Switch. I can't do it anymore. Like, it's crazy. I used to defend, like, please put Persona on Switch and stuff like that. Like, I was not begging or anything, but I was just saying, like, it would make sense and it would do well, stuff like. I don't even talk about that anymore because people are
crazy.
Yeah, basically.
Yeah, I think if anything is going to come before, it'll be probably Persona. Watch, after this comes out, like, everybody's thinking, oh yeah, Persona 5, and then Nintendo and Atlus are like, hey, by the way, Persona 4 Golden coming to the Switch.
Well, I think people would be okay with that, honestly, because I see a bunch of people telling me that Persona 4 Golden would be cool to have on Switch. Like, a lot of people, even with Persona 5, because let's be honest, if Atlus bring Persona 5 to Switch, they might have the guts to put vanilla on there. And I think I think they would, honestly, and that would create an outrage. Like, at this point, just put Golden on the console. It's going to be, at least people are going to be more calm about it than if you put vanilla P5 on the darn thing. That's for sure.
I was actually surprised they didn't do just Catherine Classic and they actually put full body on the Switch. I thought for sure they were just gonna put Catherine just like the classic, like they did on Steam.
They did with PC. Yeah, exactly. That's again Atlus.
Fair enough. So here's the last thing for the Atlus coming in 2020, 2021. We don't even know if this is going to happen in 2020 or 2021, but I hope we see something in 2021 of this game.
I hope so.
It is the right time frame though. Shin Megami Tensei 5 was originally teased in 2017, and so was this.
Yeah, for sure. But when did they reveal this one?
December 22nd, 2017, looks like.
2017, okay.
So if the timing is correct, we should see something for this in December.
That would be cool. I'm down. Anything would be cool. Like, that's what I said for TGS. I mean, if they just mention the game like in an interview, like give us a quick update. They don't even have to show anything at this point, and people would be cool. At least we know that they're still working on it, and obviously they are, but people need to be reassured.
Now, I will say this. This game probably intrigues me the most because it's a new franchise by Atlus, and they haven't done something like this in a very long time.
Yep.
Like, the closest thing to this would probably be the, what's that series that they used? Etrian Odyssey, right? That'd probably be the closest thing to this as far as, like, a timeline or, like, a medieval setting. That'd be the closest to this. But
Yeah.
this,
I don't think they'll do something similar with the gameplay, but I understand what you say, like what you're saying with
the
the
setting.
probably more of like the setting and the aesthetic of the game as well. Just the medieval setting is cool to me, like what we saw from FF16. Just
Yeah.
the fact that it's medieval, I like that. I was down for that. Can't wait to play this game on PS7.
Play it on Stadia because Google will buy it.
What's that? What's a Stadia? Can you eat that?
Anyway, is there anything else you guys want to say about Atlus for 2020, 2021?
Can't wait to see what they have in store for us. I'm not expecting much for new releases, but yeah, if they're able to give us SMT3 and 5, going to be an amazing year. Can't wait.
Absolutely. What about you, Will? You actually gonna buy an Atlus game finally?
If it comes to the Switch, yeah, I totally would.
Well, Shin Megami Tensei 5 and 3. You got 2 options.
Yeah, I'm considering it now.
There you go. And as always, Phil Spencer, come on, Shin Megami Tensei 9. I can't beg you enough for that game to get a port and an English release. But hey,
that would be amazing. I never thought about buying an Xbox, but I'll do it for this one.
I'm telling you, Shin Megami Tensei 9 could really bring back faith for JRPGs. Anyways, Phil, do it. Do it, Phil.
Do it.
As always, I'm Chris.
And I'm Will.
I'm David.
And we will see you
on next CHRILLCAST. Bye, guys.